How do you both see the industry? If you look 5 years down the road, what do you see?
Those who embrace AI will become one of the most iconic companies of their generation. And because we're leaning so heavily into AI, I expect us to be on the right side of that equation.
There's an opportunity to elevate, to lift us up in work and in life, and I think that's where we're going. And when I look out 5 years, I see an elevated society, business, and workforce.
Change rarely gives a heads up. It arrives unannounced and invites us to adapt, evolve, and rethink the way we've always done things. At this moment in time, the AI revolution is inviting us to change faster than ever. Suddenly, we're not just navigating change, we're rethinking what work is, how it will get done, what skills matter, and how to lead when humans and machines share workflows. That's the moment we're in, and that's why I'm so excited to introduce two people who aren't just reacting to this moment, they're helping to shape it. Welcome to the Future of Work podcast. I'm joined by Workday CEO Carl Eschenbach and our Chief People Officer Ashley Goldsmith. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. It's great to be here with you and Ashley. And thank you to both of you for all you're doing to help us drive forward as we think about this major change and transformation we're all going through because of AI. And thank you to Ashley for her incredible 12 years of service. She's played an instrumental role in helping lead this company, shape it, and make sure we keep our core values center of everything we do. So thank you, Ashley.
Thank you, Carl.
Love that. So true. And we've had many leadership conversations over the years, but not really deep about this particular topic. So leading through change. So I'm really excited to get your insights about what you're learning about leading through this current moment, what sort of lessons that you're picking up along the way, and what advice you have to offer others who are leading through this moment. So let's get started.
Great.
So what's a lesson that you're learning about how AI is impacting how work is getting done right now?
About 4 months ago, we had an executive leader off-site. We do them every 6 months. And as part of the agenda, one of the things I asked every functional leader, including Ashley, to come to the meeting with was a representation of how each function is using AI inside of Workday today. Whether it was sales, whether it was marketing, whether it was product and technology, whether it was HR, whether it was finance or legal. Every one of our functional leaders at the ecom level had to come and present and talk about how they're using AI. And it was really, really enlightening to see in 1 year how much we as a company have leaned into this powerful technology and we embraced it. We're encouraging our people to use it. So I can see how as a company we're embracing it and it's just not words anymore. It's actually using the technology and driving change, driving transformation, driving evolution. And I walked away from the meeting thinking, wow, first, I'm just so impressed and grateful with the leadership team and how they're embracing it. But secondly, how it's actually having impact in driving productivity gains for each of the functions in the company. A lot of people probably think it's just in R&D or software development. No, it's across the board. That's a dramatically different conversation that we'd have today versus a year ago, let alone 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, great. Ashley, what would you add?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And when all of us have taken this moment to leverage these technologies, I think it's given us such an opportunity to just step back and reassess where are we spending our time and our energy as a function, as individuals, as teams. And, I can give you a real life example. We are big into data and analytics here, as you well know, Chris. And so we have our people analytics team, and with the power of the tools and the technology today, things that used to take days or sometimes even weeks, are mere moments now. And that's really transformed what that team can do. Much richer research that really is informing our people strategy as a company in a way that just wasn't possible in the past. And it's incredibly powerful.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about what's the biggest leadership challenge, right, that AI is presenting leaders right now, and why do you think that's so?
If I had to capture it in maybe just a couple of words, Chris, I would say mindset and trust. I think big transformation like this is scary and it can be daunting, right? It can be exciting, but when you think about a transformation like this, particularly in the workplace, it can be scary. But I think as leaders, we have this opportunity to really activate a mindset of embracing change and being open to the opportunity, not just what the negatives that could happen, but think of all the wonderful positives that this change can bring. And I think as leaders, we can bring that mindset to life in ourselves and in our workforce. And then trust. I think we have to be intentional about building trust in these technologies, that this wonderful technology is here to help us, to accelerate us, to lift us up and help us focus on work that is more meaningful and frankly more rewarding.
Yeah, great. Carl, what would you add?
Yeah, I think that's really well said, and I loved your two words there, Ashley, mindset and trust. Starting with mindset, it is a mindset change. We're asking employees to embrace this technology, not be afraid of it, lean into it. And we do know, and you've probably studied way more change management than me, Ashley, but change is hard because humans are creatures of habit. We like to always do what we've done in it, but don't move my cheese. But we have to change that mindset because I often say, Chris and Ashley, if the world outside your company is moving faster than you are, the end is near. But we got to change our mindset. The second one is trust. And there's nothing more important between a company and maybe its leaders and their employees than trust. And the one thing that you all and we all have done amazingly well over the last 20 years of our existence is we've established this level of trust across our employee population and our employees with the company. And we need to make sure we focus on that. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to change the narrative. Because today the narrative, when we talk about AI, this isn't Workday, this is an industry as a whole. We talk about AI in the context of saving money, in the strong ROI that it will deliver to companies because of how transformative it is. But if we stop there, that immediately puts the trust at risk between the employee and the company because immediately the employee is like, wow, is my job going away? What's this mean for me? Will we drive savings? Yes. But the key narrative is what we do with those savings. What do we do with those dollars? And at Workday, and I think the rest of the world, we need to talk about taking those savings, that strong ROI from this technology, and how do we reinvest it in two things, in the people, in transform skills, and then how do we invest it in the business? And between the two of them, we're not just focusing on savings, we're talking about growth. Growth is exciting. Cost savings is good, but you're only doing it to drive growth. And that's the narrative we need to lean into. And that will establish the trust between the employee and the company because we're focused on growth of them and growth of the company.
Yeah, love that, Carl. Yeah. Technology has always enabled change and growth. And so we need to widen the aperture of how we think about the possibilities there.
Yeah,
love that.
Well said.
Yeah.
So we are at the cusp of having a human and digital workforce working side by side across organizations like Workday. And so, Ashley, did you ever imagine, earlier in your career that you would be leading that type of organization?
No, I certainly didn't think that, leading humans and agents would be on my bingo card. But then again, I didn't also think, figuring out the medical implications of a pandemic on the workforce was going to land there either.
Point.
So
Fair point.
There's been a lot of curveballs. But I think one of the great parts of working at a company like Workday is the opportunity to have a little sneak peek on what's coming from a technology standpoint. And we've been embedding AI into our technology for years, and so it's really just great to see the results of that and how it comes to life in what we do. And a perfect example is recruiting, right? We have our incredible recruiters working alongside our recruiting agents, and the value there is it's unmistakable. the productivity, what our recruiters can focus on instead of work that wasn't as high value add, it's transformative, and it's such a perfect example of how it comes to life.
Yeah, no doubt. And we see that unfolding right now. So, Carl, let's just build on that and share a little bit more about what does it look like to be leading in a human-first way here at company, and how does it show up in practice for us here at Workday?
Yeah, so I think what's really important to combine what you asked and what Ashley said, and I'll go back to what you just mentioned, human first, right? We at Workday, we have those 6 core values, and the first value is our employees. So even as we go through this massive transformation and this tremendous change that we're going to experience, we have to put the humans first. And we have to do it in an ethical and responsible way. And that's what's been so impressive of how we've been leaning into this. We have not moved away from our employees and the importance of them. In fact, we're embracing them, we're enabling them, and we're reskilling them. And listen, I don't think any of us, Ashley said it well, thought we'd be sitting here and we'd be managing a unification of human and digital workers or a new workforce. It's a new workforce in general, but we are. And we need to embrace it, but we're not taking the human in the loop out of it. They're in the loop in everything we do. And I think that's why we'll be successful going forward. It's keeping the human at the core of what we're doing, remaining ethical, remaining responsible, and leveraging our incredible P&P organization to drive and help us get through this transformation.
No, couldn't agree more. The AI, it isn't just a technological revolution. It's very much a human revolution, too.
Yeah. Well, you know, one of the things I often say, Chris, is technology is incredibly powerful, right? But technology only enables change. It doesn't drive change. To drive change, including technological transformations, it takes humans to implement it, support it, and leverage it. It's always going to come back to humans, even if there's a massive technology shift like we're going through. It will only enable change. It won't drive it. It'll take us.
Great. All right. So I think it's fair to say, so we are all going through a personal journey on this AI transformation. You know, everybody is excited about the productivity gains. Who wants to spend, hours on something that could take minutes? But there's also, at a very personal level, concerns and thoughts about what does this mean for me and my career and so forth. So can you guys talk about a little bit about how are we helping to bring our own workmates through this technological revolution? Ashley, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think, when we set out on this, we didn't think about it as a, we'll build it and they'll just come. We'll toss out these tools and hope that people start to use them. We really took a step back and grounded in research what our workmates' concerns were, what their motivations were, how to really tap into those things and make sure we're addressing it. And what we learned were a few things, and a great example was we learned the importance of peer-to-peer sharing when it comes to AI adoption and really starting to take advantage and grow use of AI. Much more so than Carl or me or our CIO talking about how we use it and how important it is. It's not that. It's those moments where just a peer says, let me show you what I'm doing in my job that's helping me. And those really they unleash the power of AI. So we got to see that firsthand. And we've seen some other great things, right? Our high performers are most likely to be making great use of AI in their jobs. We've seen that people who make a lot of use of AI to help with their role, they also have a higher sentiment about their career growth. Yeah. So it really, it's got power and goodness beyond even the obvious ones. So it's been great.
Super. What would you add, Carl?
Over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 decades, if you survey your employees, one of the things you get back, there's typically one of 4 things you get back. I'm going to talk about one. People say they don't have enough time to get their jobs done. They're overworked, right? I just don't have enough time. I'm feeling stressed out. I think this is an opportunity to relieve that stress and give people time back to go work on those tasks that are going to drive growth. Go work on those tasks that are much more productive. And let AI work on our behalf. And in fact, the power of AI is really going to happen for our employees, not when we're working with it, but when it's working autonomously behind the scenes for us, freeing us up to go do those more growth-oriented tasks, more productive tasks that we want to work on. So if this is an issue for most employees, we have a resolution, but you got to embrace it.
Yeah, no, I love that. And it's both employees and leaders in that one, because we can't have the mindset, freed up time, I'm just going to do another 25 things on my to-do list. It's about how to use that time in ways that create brainstorms around new customer opportunities, or have a working whiteboard session where you're really thinking deeply about the business, right? So it's going to be a really important thing of not we'll have that time, but how we use it for highest and best use is going to be really important for companies and for all of us in our careers.
Yeah, that's well said.
Couldn't agree more.
Really well said, Chris. And it does come. We're talking a lot about our workmates and the impact for our workmates. Take it up a level. It's also very powerful for our leaders.
No doubt.
Right?
How are
we
you
are
gonna
all
use that
using
time?
it. We're
That's
all
right.
using it. How do we
Yeah.
get time back to become more productive? To become not just more productive, but spend more quality time with our employees, right, and our workmates, as opposed to spending time with our devices or our PC or our phone. So there's so many benefits we're going to get by finding this time back in our day.
I think it gets back to that, allowing more meaningful work, right? We all want meaning in our work. We want work that makes us feel like we're really adding value. And I think this unleashes that in almost all of our roles.
Yeah, I have this virtual gem that helps with some of my communications, and I've now used that time. I'm doing skip levels way more frequently than I've ever done before, and I feel like so much more connected to my team personally and what they're working on, and I know they feel the same way. And so we need to see more and more of that sort of human connection in our organizations, and it's really exciting to think about those possibilities. So it's impossible to separate AI transformation from another one of our favorite topics, which is skills transformation, right? And so the two go hand in hand. And so let's talk about how do you think about talent strategy in this era of AI and what it means for the skills that people need to thrive, right? So Ashley, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think this moment gives us a real opportunity to step back and really rethink how we consider skills and what skills are most important in our workforce today. We last year did some research around which skills are going to be most important.
Right?
Yeah, what's the state of skills? And I think what everybody keeps talking about in terms of reskilling or upskilling are technology skills, right? How you work with AI, how you do good prompts. But I think what the data showed is human skills are ones that are really going to be standout and where we really differentiate, and ones that, frankly, I think we need to invest in a different way than we have in the past. Skills like empathy, critical thinking so that you can make really sound decisions, collaborating, building networks across an organization, across organizations. So important. And I think those are skills that we need to intentionally nurture in our workforce so that people can take those skills. The good news is those are mobile, right? Those are transferable skills.
Yeah, that's right.
They're
durable.
They're durable
universal.
across different jobs, different roles, different organizations. Those human skills, even outside of work, those are so powerful. So I think we need to invest and nurture those in this era.
Yeah. Carl, I know you think about this one too.
Listen, I don't know if I can say it any better. We do think about skills transformation in the context of AI around technology, but there's life skills, there's human skills that we probably have lost a little bit of in the workforce. And we got to get them back. We got to get leadership skills back. How do we collaborate? How do we network? We're over Zoom. We're not with our people anymore. So there's just a whole bunch of reskilling, both technologically, but those human skills, those life skills, I think are something, as Ashley said, they're transferable. You take them with you. It's who we are. It's how we engage. And it's really what humans are meant to do, to be with one another, to collaborate, to network, to communicate. And we got to get back to that while we leverage technology at the same time. So this is not an or, do we need technical skills or life or human skills? It's an and. And because of AI, we'll get both.
So true, guys. Yeah. I mean, every innovation that's ever happened is a result of those types of skills, right?
Yeah.
It's when humans connect and create things together they couldn't have created alone. It's where new value creation, new products, new services come about in our world today. Couldn't agree more.
It's where the magic happens.
It's where the magic happens. You totally got it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know that people strategy and business strategy are one and the same, right? And we also know that the CEO and CHRO partnership is more important than ever today. So in this moment of change, let's talk about that partnership with the two of you. And Carl, I'd love to hear from you first.
Actually, Chris, I'm not going to answer that. Because I want to hear what she has to say about our partnership first. So I'm going to ask her to reflect on our partnership, right? And see if it's any different from our one-on-ones. And then I'll chime in.
Okay, there we go.
I threw the host off here, didn't I, a little bit? Please start.
It. All right. No, look, I think the CEO-CHRO partnership has always been important. I think that's been a key relationship. And in a successful companies, you can name them, that relationship has been strong. I think in this period of incredible transformation, our partnership has been more important than ever because we are guiding a business and a group of 20,000 humans through a massive amount of change and making sure that we are doing that in a thoughtful way together that is both strategically aligns with our growth and our work that we're seeking to achieve, but also does it with our core values at the heart. And nobody embodies our core values more than Carl, and that's been such a delight to work with him on. But those guide our decisions, and these are moments of some tough decisions at times and uncertainty about which way is the right path. But when we're able to keep our core values at the center and to influence our people strategy in a way that supports our growth strategy, and feeling that we do that together, it's really powerful. So I think now more than ever.
Yeah, super.
And listen, just a couple things to add, Chris. I actually think there's going to be a step function change into how critical of a role they play in companies going forward. Because everything we just talked about is talking about reskilling your employees, transforming your workforce, leaning into change. All of those come directly through an incredible CHRO like Ashley. So I think they're going to be defining, just like we're talking about here today, what the future of work looks like. And not only what it looks like, but how you're going to get there. So I personally believe in the future, as important as this relationship is today, not just here, but at other companies, it's only going to become that much more important in the future because the transition that we're about to go through will actually come through the CHR organization as much as anything else because it's about embracing change while sticking to your core values, right, and maintaining that culture. And those, quite frankly, at times are at odds. We've navigated it well, and I think we will continue. And the elevation of the CHRO, both in the boardroom and with the CIO, is going to become that much more critical in the future.
Carl, I think that's so well said about the importance of how it is funneling more through the CHRO. One of the calls I've been getting the most lately, and just as early as a call late last night, is from CHROs who are saying, my CEO is asking me to lead AI adoption for the company. Tell me how you're doing that. And this is over and over and over for CHROs. And that's a new muscle, and also just a new reliance that a CEO is thinking, that's who I want to help with technology. That's where I'm turning for this. This is where I'm turning for a massive pivot and transformation. And Carl and I, we talk either by voice, in person, or via text, every single day. And it's because we're going through big changes, and we need to be in lockstep. And I think that's going to be increasingly true.
And also for someone like me, as I said, I get the real feedback. Right? Sometimes I don't want to hear it, but it's really healthy. And I trust Ashley in the organization and PMP so much because it's unfiltered, right? This is what we're doing. In fact, I'll give you an example. Last week, we had a town hall meeting. And the day before, Ashley and I got together, and I said, this is what I'm thinking about. This is what I'd like to share with the company. And she said, Carl, the one feedback we get, and I said this, is the company wants more transparency, Well, I was more transparent, and that's the type of relationship we're going to need, because we're about to embark upon a work transformation that no one has ever experienced in our lifetime. And to do that, this relationship has to be grounded, has to be solid, has to have a tremendous amount of trust and respect and reliance.
So to close, let's look forward. And Carl, as you love to say, the windshield is always larger than the rear view mirror. When I ask you now to look in that big windshield out ahead, and when you look out a front and you see that landscape out there, how do you both see the industry? If you look 5 years down the road, what do you see? So Carl, thoughts?
For the companies out there today, if they don't embrace AI, they don't drive transformation or continuous evolution in their companies through the use of AI and technologies like AI, their relevancy will no longer exist in the future. Those who embrace it will become, as we like to say, will become one of the most iconic companies of their generation. And because we're leaning so heavily into AI, I expect us to be on the right side of that equation, because we are looking through the windshield. We're not looking backwards. The only place we look backwards is to maintain our values and our culture. But everything else is out in the future, and technology is going to drive us to change. We're going to embrace change.
That's the opportunity. I love also the importance of the values, and they're always with us wherever we travel. It's so good. Ashley, what would you add?
Yeah, I would just say, I think, the promise of what's ahead of us is so exciting. And there's so much to be positive about, from the impact to workers, to individuals, to society at whole, to businesses. I think there is just this wonderful opportunity. I don't think it'll necessarily be a smooth path. I think we'll have a bumpy path to take advantage and reach the promise of all that's here. But I think there's this an opportunity to elevate, to lift us up in work and in life. And I think that's where we're going. And when I look out 5 years, I see an elevated society, business, and workforce.
Yeah. No, thank you so much, Ashley, for those insights. And thank you, Carl, for those insights. And personally, just for the reminder in this conversation that even in this AI era, the human is central to everything that we do. Leadership is still the most human of work that we could possibly do in our organization. So just really appreciate the conversation.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us, and make sure you're subscribed to the Future of Work podcast wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss great conversations like these.